What's going on, Israel? This is your boy, y'all's chosen one, man. Y'all Shahala, what's going on? Look, we're in the great book of Jasher. We're in chapter 39, verse 17. And as you can see, the sons of Jacob, man, is about to get at it, man, going against these people of Gaash. And it should be a heck of a battle. These are actually Amorites. And as I told you before, Amorites were actually people of the giants. So let's see what's going down. And the sons of Jacob approached to open the gates of the city, and whilst they were drawing nigh, behold, those who were in ambush at the rear of the city came forth from their places and surrounded the sons of Jacob. So we see the sons of Jacob are surrounded by their enemies. It was an ambush mode, so these people were waiting. And the sons of Jacob were enclosed between the people of Gaash, and the battle was both to their front and rear. And all the men that were upon the wall were casting from the wall upon them arrows and stones. So you're surrounded. You got arrows and stones being cast down upon you. It doesn't look good. It doesn't like they're in a good situation right here. And Judah, seeing that the men of Gaash were getting too heavy for them, gave a most piercing and tremendous shriek. And all the men of Gaash were terrified at the voice of Judah's cry. And men fell from the wall at his powerful shriek. And all those that were from without and within the city were greatly afraid for their lives. Man, I don't know, man. I see like Dragon Ball Z. I see some things. Just his shriek. This man's voice was either giving off sound waves or it was piercing to their ears, and they lost their equilibrium, but they fell. And you can't tell me that ain't superpowers, man. Come on, you can't tell me that ain't superpowers. You yell, and that sends shock waves or piercing sounds to somebody and make them fall off the roof. And the sons of Jacob still came nigh to break the doors of the city, when the men of Gaash threw stones and arrows upon them from the top of the wall, and made them flee from the gate. And the sons of Jacob returned against the men of Gaash who were with them from without the city. And they smote them terribly, as striking against gourds. And they could not stand against the sons of Jacob, for fright and terror had seized them at the shriek of Judah. Just Judah's shriek alone sent tremors and just made them scared. And the sons of Jacob slew all those men who were without the city. And the sons of Jacob still drew nigh to effect an entrance into the city, and to fight under the city walls. But they could not fight, for the inhabitants of Gaash, who remained in the city, had surrounded the walls of Gaash in every direction, so that the sons of Jacob were unable to approach the city to fight with them. And the sons of Jacob came nigh to one corner to fight under the wall. The inhabitants of Gaash threw arrows and stones upon them like showers of rain, and they fled from under the wall. And the people of Gaash who were upon the wall, seeing that the sons of Jacob could not prevail over them from under the wall, reproached the sons of Jacob in these words, saying, What is the matter with you in the battle that you cannot prevail? Can you then do unto the mighty city of Gaash and its inhabitants as you did to the cities of the Amorites that were not so powerful? Surely to those weak ones among us you did those things, and slew them in the entrance of the city, for they had no strength when they were terrified at the sound of your shouting. And will you now then be able to fight in this place? Surely you will all die, and we will avenge the cause of those cities that you have laid waste. That's awesome, man. So they're mocking these sons of Jacob. It's like, man, you might have got past them other dudes, but you ain't getting past us, man. We the people of Gaash. And the inhabitants of Gaash greatly reproached the sons of Jacob, and reviled them with their gods. See, there they go to their gods, man. Whatever the gods they were serving, it was Nephilim gods. And continued to cast arrows and stones upon them from the wall. And Judah and his brothers heard the words of the inhabitants of Gaash, and their anger was greatly roused. And Judah was jealous of his power in this matter. And he called out and said, Yah, help, send help to us and our brothers. And he ran at a distance with all his might, with his drawn sword in his hand, and he sprang from the earth, and by dint of his strength mounted the wall, and his sword fell from his hand. And Judah shouted upon the wall, and all the men there that were upon the wall were terrified. And some of them fell from the wall of the city, from the wall into the city, and died. And those who were yet upon the wall, when they saw Judah's strength, they were greatly afraid, and fled for their lives into the city for safety. And some were emboldened to fight with Judah upon the wall, and they came nigh to slay him when they saw there was no sword in Judah's hand. So they didn't see no sword, even though this dude is jumping on walls and leaping them in one bound. These dudes got a little bit bold, thinking they could take him. These are soldiers, and they're not gonna go out like that. And they thought of casting him from the wall to his brothers. And 20 men of the city came up to assist him. And they surrounded Judah. And they all shouted over him, and approached him with drawn swords. And they terrified Judah. And Judah cried out to his brothers from the wall. And Jacob and his sons drew the bow from under the wall, and smote 3 of the men that were upon the top of the wall. And Judah continued to cry as he exclaimed, Yah, help us! Yah, deliver us! And he cried out with a loud voice upon the wall, and the cry was heard at a great distance. Man, we just ain't talking about echoes here, man. We talking about this guy's voice just carrying over to just an unspecified amount of space that his voice is carrying over to. And after this cry, he again repeated to shout, and all the men who surrounded Judah on top of the wall was terrified. And they each threw his sword from his hand at the sound of Judah's shouting and his tremor, and fled. And Judah took the swords which had fallen from their hands, and Judah fought with them and slew 20 of their men upon the wall. And about 80 men and women still ascended the wall from the city, and they all surrounded Judah. And Yah impressed the fear of Judah in their hearts, that they were unable to approach him. They couldn't even approach him. That's how bad Judah was, man. They couldn't even approach this brother. And Jacob and all who were with him drew the bow from under the wall, and they slew 10 men upon the wall, and they fell below the wall before Jacob and his sons. And the people upon the wall, seeing that 20 of their men had fallen, they still ran toward Judah with drawn swords, but they could not approach him, for they were greatly terrified at Judah's strength. And one of their mighty men, whose name was Arud, approached to strike Judah upon his head with his sword. When Judah hastily put his shield to his head, and the sword hit the shield, and it was split in two. So, this is a strong man. His shield was split in two. You remember, these are Amorites, man. And this mighty man, after he had struck Judah, ran for his life at the fear of Judah, and his feet slipped. Messed up now. Upon the wall, and he fell amongst the sons. Messed up now, dude. And he fell amongst the sons of Jacob who were below the wall, and the sons of Jacob smote him and slew him. And Judah's head pained him from the blow of the powerful man, and Judah had nearly died from it. That was a hard blow to Judah. It split the shield in two, and Judah nearly died from that blow. And Judah cried upon the wall owing to the pain produced by the blow. When Dan heard him, and his anger burned within him, and he also rose up and went at a distance, and ran and sprang from the earth, and mounted the wall with his wrath excited strength. So he had the same power, man. Dan wasn't no joke either. And when Dan came upon the wall near unto Judah, all the men upon the wall fled, who had stood against Judah. And they went up to the second wall, and they threw arrows and stones upon Dan and Judah from the second wall, and endeavored to drive them from the wall. And the arrows and stones struck Dan and Judah, and they had nearly been killed upon the wall. And whatever Dan and Judah fled from the wall, they were attacked with arrows and stones from the second wall. Wow. Wow. So these dudes are getting hit with arrows and stones. They're not dying. Almost killed them, but if it was somebody like you and me, man, we'd be dead. There's something about these sons of Jacob, man, that's keeping them alive. Obviously, we know it's Yah's power, but there's something that's keeping these brothers alive, man. And it's all through Yah. It's all through Yah. That was a heck of a chapter, man. This gets better and better. All right, that was part 13. I'll catch you guys on part 14 on the next one. Shalom, Israel.